To Cafe, first up to run you through all of the action. It's Dev.
Thank you very much, Rob. I think, Mandy, that may be the fastest Des segment I have ever seen in the history of esports.
That felt like it went by in an absolute flash, but hopefully this best of 3 doesn't, right? I'm in for a 3-mapper. I am absolutely in all for it. And I think that these two teams have to be some of the most exciting two teams to go against each other as well. You have SCARZ, who I feel like always do the right things. These guys have been practicing for a long time. They're one of the more methodical teams in the Japanese league. Whereas you have Varrel, and those guys, like, chaos incarnate. That is who they are.
Absolutely. Varrel, once in the shadows in RJL, now they've become household names, formerly known as Donuts USG. And 4 of these 5 players were actually champions of RJL back in 2021 in that massive victory that they took in the BO5 over Cyclops, toppling Cyclops' dominance within the region. And more recently, also champions again at the end of last year in Season 3 of the RJL 2022. So it's really a clash between two teams that know what it means to be at the top of Japan, but neither knows what it means to go overseas and represent the region at a major.
SCARZ are running the old rogue banner. Nice. Like that from them.
Dirt, 4th round, it's a bar stage rush, and 5th round, another rush. So 4 out of their 6 attacks were rushes. If that doesn't start to give you a bit of flavor of what to expect out of Varrel, I don't know what will.
Well, there you go. We're going to go up to this top floor bomb site. It is Bar on Cocktail to start us out, and SCARZ are going to choose to bring along this this castle play now. Have a look at the bans real quick. Azami has been taken out, and what that means is you're not going to be able to build that fortress inside of the piano room to cut off the window lines of sight. You're only going to be relying on those castle barricades and then playing nice and close and personal inside of that shot position. For Varrel, are they going to attack that straight away, or are they going to do something more cocktail facing? Who knows? They are Varrel.
I do wonder. Well, the lack of Ying certainly makes it a little bit more difficult to get that really pacey playstyle, but you never know. I'm sure that Varrel could pull it off even with the most staple operators out there. They'll always bring something unexpected. But Cafe, historically quite a defensive favored site. The lack of Azami, though, may flip that switch in my mind. With Azami in, it's just insane to hold on to that piano room, to lounge and make it so difficult, like an indomitable fortress. But now that she's banned out, anything's game.
Starting out on the attack for Varrel, immediately we've got Okamesh starting out on that South Rappel. Seems like they're going to look inside of Cigar and see what's there, if they can deal with it or not. They do have quite a bit of utility in their hands. They've got plenty of flashbangs if they want to make the flood with the grenades come through for this close position inside of shop. But really, I think the challenge for these guys is going to be just trying to deal with that shotgun in hand. It's going to be quite frustrating, I think. They have already used 2 sets of grenades, and one of them, I believe, is going to be the Nook down below anyway, and so there's really only one more viable explosive that they can use to deal with that. Not only that, but they've only got the 2 Ash breaching rounds to cut down those castle barricades too, so this defense that they have set up really is going to be quite hard to take down.
I feel like for Varrel, it's going to come down to the lurk game. Rento is currently waiting. He's going to get peeked. Rek doesn't land enough shots to deal a fatal blow. However, it does push Rento back down the white stairs. And, well, Didi's actually found an opening here. Lovely flash and the entry. Meanwhile, Kawao and Akayu have actually found picks of their own. So 2 minutes into the round, not even. And a 5v2 advantage for the attacking side.
It's looking pretty good for Varrel. Once again, they've decided to go for this explosive mid-round clear of the roamers downstairs and find their way inside of Piano as well. Now, the defense starting to be surrounded, and poor Tayo being taken down with Fish-like now in a 1-on-5.
Yeah, it's not happening. Easy as you like. Let's see if he can pad the stats a little bit. 1 kill, not the second on Akawa. Even the live drone right at the end there. Varrel, another very beautiful, explosive attack, akin to what we've seen from them all stage long.
really nice from them to just be able to slip in through the cracks of that defense. They found a lot of success going down below and finding the lurk there, the Jaeger player of Wreck. Not only that, but timing the repellin as well inside of Cigar and being able to clear out that position just by having pure game sense, I think, and being able to take that engagement in the right time when the player isn't being as reactive of it in that moment is just the Varrel way. They always manage to find their way in. They always manage to capitalize on timings, and I think that round was a great testament to that.
Now, Mandy, I'm sure everyone listening, watching has noticed that there's a strange lack of game sound at the moment. Now, that's just an issue that our technical team is working on. It should be fixed very shortly. But what I highly recommend you do in the meantime, chuck on your favorite album in the background. Tell us what it is in chat. I would love to know what you guys are listening to. What is the best soundtrack to Rainbow Six Siege? I personally reckon some Japanese math rock would go pretty hard right now.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh, J-Rock goes absolutely so hard. If you're playing Siege and you listen to J-Rock, okay, actually playing Siege while listening to music is quite challenging. But if you're one of those goats that can...
challenging.
Okay, it is quite challenging. But listen, if you're one of the goats that just having a chill day and you listen to some music while playing Siege, listening to some 1OK rock, okay, those guys go so hard. Okay, sorry, anyone. Yes, guys, tweet at us and tell us what your album is, because that. Oh yes, I want to listen to some Siege music. Okay, I need some gamer playlists in my DMs.
Yeah.
I actually do. Guys, please tweet at us your gamer playlists so I can listen to them while playing video games.
Well, I do recall the beautiful anime-style intro that we had for the opening playday, the ad for RJL. Absolutely nutty stuff. I loved that. Music goes so well with this game. But, of course, let's continue as it looks like Donuts Varrel have taken some control of the top floor. We're down in the kitchen, Mandy. And there's quite a bit of I was going to say quite a bit of a roam, but it looks like all 5 SCARZ players currently on the ground floor.
Interesting. That is a curious one to me because SCARZ have also brung along, good grief, the Solus too. So it would have indicated to me that they were going to look in for more of that mid-round type of roam and then fall off as it comes down to it. But Washoy is actually going to be playing that all the way down in the basement. Maybe he's just looking out to see what exactly Varrel are doing through the mid-round. He's going to be coming to their team to try and anticipate what execute they're going to go for later on.
This vert game is going to be so deadly for Varrel, though. SCARZ are going to feel a lot of pressure in the coming moments as the buck starts to get to work. You also have breaching charges on the Ash. But as you can see, most of the players here for SCARZ have retreated back around the bomb site rather than inside it onto places like Kochek, like Bakery, that have a lot of safety to the vertical play. However, not safe there from Okamesh, who's outside of the dining window here and peering through this long line of sight into VIP.
Nice cutoff position starting out from Varrel, and now they can make use of the vertical game as well. Can cut down on that utility on the side. Not only that, but Okamesh has doubled down onto Pion, who's sitting inside of VIP too, and that's your entire backside defense now taken away, and they can go in for this execute down the freezer hatch.
Yeah, and in goes Akayu, looking keenly to try and clear out any players, takes out the bulletproof camera, and that C4 is a miss from Tayu. And, well, Okamesh delivering another kill is going to make this very awkward now. It's all up to Washoy upstairs, finds one, but immediately traded on back by Renzo Mandy. Once again, a dominant slew of attacks from Varrel.
Yeah, and Varrel have been given a lot of respect in that round from SCARZ as well, really. SCARZ didn't provide a whole lot of contest through the map, as we were speaking about earlier, and as a result, we had those Varrel players jump in, make really quick use of that vertical. Not only that, but Okamesh finding those 2 picks on the cutoff was what really was a done deal, in my opinion, for that SCARZ team. The moment that backside opened up of the bomb site, the moment they could go for freezer drop, they just went for that opportunistic... There you go. They went for the opportunistic push, and yeah, I think for Varrel, they're just super on the ball, especially on a map like Cafe.
So looking historically at Cafe, right? I'm going back. We have seen SCARZ play Cafe back in the SI LCQ. SCARZ were really hyped up going into the last chance qualifiers for APAC, but losing to Northeption was a bit of an upset. It's not the only upset we've seen from Northeption recently, of course, if you're watching their win against CAG earlier today. But yeah, that's the most recent information we have on SCARZ, is that loss to Northeption. On the Varrel side, of course, we're thinking mostly about that crazy Fnatic game, Mandy, and it seems, if anything, that's more of what we're seeing here. I can see why Varrel chose to go to Cafe.
I think that's exactly right. I think Varrel, they find success on the maps that you can be creative on. And I know that normally we don't talk about Cafe like that, but it seems to be one of those maps where the entries are so set in their ways, the map is so... It's a bit solved, in my opinion, for a lot
Yeah.
of teams, that Varrel are like, let's make entry points out of things that shouldn't be entry points, that are not supposed to be there, right? Let's try and change up the pacing of Cafe in ways that normally you don't see. And I think that against a team like SCARZ, where they're giving them a lot of respect to do so, it's not really the way that you want to play against Varrel, right? You have to expect the unexpected from this team. And I think both rounds in a row, they're being able to clear through the map like that in the dominant fashion that they have. SCARZ need to start disrespecting them. They need to start putting their heads...
Hallelujah, we have game sound, guys. Thank you for bearing with us while we got through those technical issues. But just touching once again on Cafe here and your suggestion that SCARZ need to ramp up their aggression. I think historically people look at Cafe as a defense-favored map. The lack of Azami here, I think, does swing that a little bit. Historically, the 2 times that this map has been played in RJL, it actually has been just marginally attacker side of 52%. Whereas holistically across the Blast R6 program so far, it is 52% defensive favored, so very much like quite an even map. So while this is a great start for Varrel, there's very much a good chance that SCARZ is able to equalize and come back from this.
So with the lineup that SCARZ have brought, it would indicate to me that they are playing this more spread out type setup through the top floor. They're not making themselves boxed in to a castle setup or boxed in with shotguns and a lot of utility or something like that. You've really got those super quick fraggers that don't have a lot of team utility but have more self-sufficient utility. So you have like your Alibi, for example, your Warden. Not only that, but you've got your Jaeger set and forget utility too. All of these guys just they put their stuff on the ground, and then they can be enabled by that solace to figure out what their mobility needs to be through that mid round and face the attackers head on.
For now, it doesn't seem like Varrel have really got their boots in the building as of yet. And as you said, the Solus is a great operator for getting that extra information, figuring out where this push is coming from. Very patient, though, from Varrel so far. We actually do have DD. He's managed to sneak right adjacent to that bomb site inside a train, and he's waiting patiently for a defender to walk past his line of sight.
Not just that, but Varrel are doing this full eastern side take of the map. They're not even going to drop the red hatch, not even contest piano at all. They're just making their way straight inside of Cocktail.
Ooh. Okay, I like this power position created on the white stairs. The ADS is burned by the smoke, and a nade comes all the way over from downtown inside a train. What a play there from DD, but don't believe Varrel are aware of the down as of yet. Washoy now going for this play, sneaking his way. Is he seemingly aware? He does take down DD. That's a great pick now for SCARZ to try and redeem themselves and scrape their way back into this round.
Keep in mind, Fish-like is down on the ground, but not out just yet, and that's giving Varrel a man advantage temporarily. Not only that, but they've doubled down on that with Okamesh taking down Washoy.
Very lucky that Okamesh got that one. Otherwise, Akayu would have been extremely exposed. Tayo, believe that's the flank. Managed to get one before being traded back. Fishlike still on the ground and not looking like he can be picked up anytime soon, but time is the biggest enemy now of Varrel. As Pyon has to 1 versus 2. Akayu, is that him upstairs or is that Okamesh on the hunt now? They're looking to try and hunt down this last player. I think they know where he is. They're going to go hunting for him, but Akayu instead decides to force that diffuser down, enabling the clutch. And that's an opening round that SCARZ will be happy for.
Yeah, a good sneaky one from the IGL of SCARZ. Pyon, of course, going up for that top floor flank and then managing to sneak his way down as the time ticked away on the clock. I think for SCARZ, that was really good from them to be able to contest directly onto more of the entry points that Varrel were going for. We already had players that were starting out on the stairs, for example, holding any push that might come out from white. Not only that, but the defense of that top floor wasn't as compacted and compartmentalized inside of that shop area. They were really holding on to as much as they could, all in pixel to make sure they couldn't go piano early, as well as holding on to Cocktail as well. It just felt like SCARZ, they were kind of ready for anything with the setup that they had against Varrel, and then as a result were able to collapse in on the right spots.
But a very narrow margin for them, Andy. Which doesn't fill me with a lot of hope. And of course now, on the defensive side, when you win a round, it's locked for 2. So kitchen cooking and bar cocktail will be the focuses for the next 2 rounds here. SCARZ are going up to bar now. This was quite a devastating loss for them the previous time they played it. Varrel only lost a single player. That was really just a stat pad in a 5v1.
Yeah, but once again, SCARZ are bringing along their adaptations to this bomb site. They're no longer leaning into that castle setup with all the Aruni gates on it and holding close inside a shop, that type of thing. They're putting down 2 players in this ground floor, anticipating that the Varrel lurk is going to come through once again. Not only that, but they're playing lots of longer lines of sight as well. We've got that well, my good grief, Warden with that 1.5 times scope. It's also going to be aided by the Solace, who's going to call exactly what the attack is doing, where they're going to be droning out, and therefore what lines of sight these defenders need to be holding.
Washoy is tempted to play aggressively here as the Warden inside of shop. Actually, a lot of drones taken down quite early here for Varrel. Only 5 left remaining. Bit of a bait there by the player on the window on the upside down rappel. Washoy feeling a lot of pressure as Okamesh is going to peek now with a nade. And it lands perfectly. Washoy out of the game immediately. Okamesh to rappel on into Piano.
Oh, and he's almost good for 2 as well. A player inside of backsteel, that's Pion. Unfortunately, not quite a 1.5x in hand. Can't exactly challenge that angle. Not only that, but we've got a flank from Fresh Flake who's just come up from the red stairs. But Okamesh is aware of that, can turn around and take him down.
Okamesh is just such a reliable player now. Rek has gone for a bit of a jog downstairs, and outside Renzo can easily mop him up. What a round that was from Varrel. Over really before it even started. Okamesh, a great entry before SCARZ simply fell apart.
Look, honestly, Dev, I wish that I could break down that attacking round for you, but I have absolutely no idea what went down. My brain is too small for this. I think the thing that was really the detriment there for SCARZ was I feel like they were a bit deviated from the concept that they went for. I think that yes, it is a good idea to play aggressive, but you need to be in a position that you can fall off from early. And I think that for, I believe it was Washoy on that 1.5x on the Warden. Yes, he was contesting the windows, but with no ADSs means that you're going to eventually get naded and flooded out with that utility. Not just that, but I think as well for the white stairs and those cocktail positions, just falling out of place and running into these cut-off positions, cut-off lines of sight even on the rappels. The lurk, of course, downstairs not being successful either. It just felt like SCARZ, although they had the right idea, it wasn't quite well executed enough.
If you're looking for a hero to back in this game, Okamesh, 7 kills to 0 deaths at the moment. Really giving Nina from the previous game a run for his money. Okamesh has actually only been on this Varrel roster for 16 days after leaving Crest in January. You can see he's found a home where he can really flourish and thrive. And Varrel will be very happy about the form of this new pickup. Okamesh is so deadly on that entry.
Going down to this ground floor bomb site as well, and once again, SCARZ giving up a lot of the map control, essentially the entire map other than the ground floor, to Varrel, and that's going to enable that buck-in to get in real quick and start to make use of the vertical.
Feels like the times we've seen SCARZ have success, it comes on the back of these re-aggressions, these flanks, perhaps a weakness for Varrel, and yet haven't seen them lean into that playstyle quite enough as of yet. Varrel seemed very competent at clearing these positions on site. As you can see, so much information gathered now by Okamesh. His drone finally goes down, but absolutely worth it. I believe a smoke now to be deployed. That was one of Carwow's. Not entirely sure where that went down, but there you go. So it is on the coat check position. He's tempted to go for a peek. Put pressure onto this VIP position.
So the danger here for SCARZ is that because they've given so much control to Varrel early on, not only are Varrel getting control of the vertical, but they're also in tandem putting control and pressure on the horizontal as well. Like outside of, oh goodness gracious, outside of, I can't believe of all things he ran to a nade as well. I think that's exactly proving my point, right? Not only is this vertical flushing some of these anchors out of their positions, but because of the horizontal pressure that they've also got going, no matter where the defenders wiggle around, they're going to be taken down by someone. And I think as it comes to this dying minute of the round now, yep, there we go, the horizontal pressure can start to collapse in towards that bomb site.
Oh, this is just something else now for Varrel. Fishlike on for a bit of a jog upstairs. Going to be difficult, but if he can nail a kill or two, you can see DD Man was aware of it, but he does get taken out. Meanwhile, on site, Tayo's found one of his own.
Oh, and it seems like he's going to be able to collect the second as well. Lack of flank drones for Varrel is going to come to their detriment, as now we've got Akayu now in a 1-on-4.
Big round there from Fishlike, taking down Okamesh, but Akayu is not going to be able to redeem his team. And SCARZ can find a second round here. Varrel, fortunately, after that advantage they gained 5v3, they weren't able to find anything else. That flank seemed too good for SCARZ.
Yeah, unfortunately, just a lack of establishment in the flank drones through the map. They weren't quite diligent enough about setting up something on each of the stairwells, and as a result, we had, I believe it was Fishlike come up those brown stairs and able to collect that flank. That was 2, and I think from there it was really a done deal. The anchors left on the site really only had to take 2-on-1 on that reception play that was left, and it was closed off after that.
SCARZ will go down to Reading and Fireplace for their final defensive round. Now, 100% win rate here. They've only played it once, and they did win it, be it on the back of a clutch from Pion 1v2. I'm not too optimistic for SCARZ that they'll be able to replicate that. While there have been some great moments in these rounds, it does feel like, Mandy, the 2 rounds that SCARZ have had, it's really been quite significant advantages for Varrel that have then just barely been clawed back by some heroics of SCARZ. And when it comes to heroics, I feel like Varrel has had the upper hand in this game.
Well, I think that's the thing about the SCARZ playstyle, is they're not really into heroics, you know? That's not really their thing, as it's ever been. I think SCARZ, they like doing things properly, and I think the 2 times that we have seen them win rounds have been off the back of punishing Varrel for just some small amateur mistakes, not really keeping track of where the defenders are, and just finding a bit of a hole in their intel and finding some good timing. I think for Varrel, the way that they're playing is quite challenging to keep track of, and yes, has definitely caught SCARZ off guard a few times, but it is off the back of heroics more often than not.
I really like the use of the Bravo there to hack that Malusi Banshee. Defenders might not really be aware of it being hacked and may still be relying on it, but now the attackers can simply walk past unaffected. In fact, the defenders will be affected by it should they walk past. Much quieter than clearing it with a Rotero or with some other utility.
And for Varrel as well, just starting to get control once again of that top floor of the map. Got a few players on the roof now, looking to see what is inside a cocktail, what's inside a long bar. 3 defenders on the site would indicate to me that SCARZ are not going for an incredibly extended hold at the top, but this time Varrel actually taking quite a lot more time to make an establishment inside the building.
They like to sit outside for quite some time, don't they, before they execute, before they start to strangle the defense. Often it comes in the form of a bit of a lurk, a player finding themselves in an advanced position, but there's no one in. Actually, as I say that, Rento snuck all the way in, right next to that site before Pion takes him down. Kawau is not far, though. But he is also taken down. I'm going to stop saying people's names here, Mandy, because it seems like every time I do, a Varrel player dies.
SCARZ have got some great discipline here. They're not over-rotating. They're just hanging around, making sure that they can peek the entries within the vicinity of them. And not only that, but they found success off of it as well. Player inside of Cocktail, that's Bolshoi on the other side, playing a dance with the long bars. Kaio can rappel in from that new balcony position and take him down.
Well, play there by Kaio. DD Man now above as Okamesh has fallen, so a lot left to work with here for Varrel, and Akayu's going to have to demonstrate something pretty phenomenal here as he makes his way into pillars, trying to isolate these ones. But he might not have realized that Fishlike's actually gone for this flank upstairs. DD Man needs to be aware of that. He should be able to call it. Akayu's got to worry about the position and train here. Come around the corner, Pion takes him down, and the diffuser with it. DD Man's dropped the hatch, can find one, but not the second. And that's a good redemption there for SCARZ. The half ends even.
Nice from SCARZ. I think what they did there was they spread themselves out in a pretty achievable amount of map control. I think that the thing against Varrel is that they're always going to enter in through some point of the map, right? And I think SCARZ had that figured out. There's no way that with the size of Cafe that they were going to be able to cover every single point of entry that Varrel were going to be able to find. But what they could do was they could hold on to enough map control and each them peek 2 or 3 entry points and check whether there's a Varrel player there or not. And I think that the collective effort of all the SCARZ players being disciplined in the angles that they were checking meant that they could take down those Varrel lurks as they came through and really punish the playstyle that they were going for.
We're seeing some shining lights now for SCARZ, some semblances of redemption now. They're going to have to keep up that form on their attacking side, which in a way can be much more difficult. You need a lot of confidence to play on the attack of Cafe. I wonder whether they're going to go for a map take here, as we are going down a kitchen, which is kind of unusual to me. Most teams tend to go bar or reading first, I feel. But it forces the question, right? Are they going to take full map control? Are they going to have to go for some kind of aggressive bakery take using that Monty? I wonder.
That Monty would indicate to me that SCARZ have enabled themselves to do a more direct take. Not only that, but Pion as well has the diffuser in his hands, and so going in for that bakery double seems to be the play for these guys. Jones out in hand, they're just going to see what happens behind this Cupcake's position. There is in fact a rotation hole made there, so Varrel seem to want to hold onto this position. That being said, of course, the moment that I say that, they decide to fall back from it, although there is still vertical in the hands of these Varrel players. Keep in mind that as you enter in through prep, anyone from inside of mining could take you down. Fish-like though, he can collect one onto Akayo, and the onslaught through bakery can begin.
You have Hard Breach available as well. We're going to start cutting some lines of sight inside of prep, and then some into the bomb site itself. Rento still has control upstairs, however. So Varrel still establishing quite a foothold above with Vert available. Now DD Man seems to be the lone player on site as SCARZ start to tease out and execute here. Looks like they may well go for it. What is the response from Varrel?
Oh, and there he goes, Pion with the diffuser in hand to find the bomb on the ground. Rento with a C4 above might be able to do a little bit of damage, but not stop the plan in its entirety. It's up to Okamesh and Rento now in the 2-on-5 retake in an almost impossible situation.
I don't see this happening. Goes to show for Varrel that vertical dominance is not everything here on that Cafe Kitchen bomb site. SCARZ did a great job of identifying the weaknesses and sending it straight into sight. Now this retake is nigh impossible. Okamesh had a great start to the game. Starting to slow down here though. And, well, okay, they're just going to bait. That's one way to play it. They're not even going to try. Maybe they'll look to just find a kill or two. Okamesh goes outside, gets one. It's good for the KD, I guess. Now, popping past double digits, but the round was over long ago.
What was odd to me about that setup from Varrel, I think, was seems like that they were indicated towards a bakery hold. They did have that rotation hold there. They did have a play behind that Cupcake's position, in fact, but he wasn't really supported by a whole lot of utility. There wasn't really ADSs there, a Rooney Gate, Wamai. There wasn't really anything to protect his position, not a shield either, and so he had to fall off that quite quickly. And I think the danger of doing that is if you put that rotation hole there and then you can't close it back up, that's a big gaping hole for the attack to make their way in through, right? So I think that for SCARZ, they were given a lot of wiggle room as they went for that direct take. Able to get that bomb down nice and early in tandem with all the cutoffs that they had horizontally was just a really, really quick way to make work of that Varrel setup.
Well, Mandy, believe it or not, SCARZ are actually taking the lead here, which is really to my surprise. I feel like, holistically, this has been a Varrel game. The rounds that they have won seem dominant, with the exception of SCARZ winning that round just prior. That kitchen take was superb. All of the other defenses that SCARZ won seemed pretty tight, pretty close. Varrel are starting to slip now, which is quite a concern. Now, they were up 3-1 at one point. Now, they haven't found much at all since then.
I think the catch to the Varrel playstyle is that although the way that they play is a little unpredictable and can be quite frustrating to play against, it also allows a lot of room for these amateur mistakes. They are still a rookie team. And so what SCARZ were able to do, especially towards that latter half of the defense, was really play into a more a proper way of siege that they were punishing the mistakes of Varrel. Each time that Varrel felt like they had an establishment of the building, they were lacking drones. They were lacking flank drones, for example, or maybe they wouldn't have enough utility to clear something. And I think it's the same thing here on this defense, right? The Varrel setup is there and it's kind of exciting, but it's not 100% put together. And I think we saw in that last round, SCARZ really able to identify the errors in their setup and capitalize on it. I think they're doing it once again. We can see there's not a whole lot of pressure from down below. And so that's where SCARZ have identified they can take their real estate and start to make use of the vertical.
I do love that from SCARZ, but DD's actually managed to sneak up the white stairs and take down Washoy. I'm not entirely sure where that player was. I last saw him near pillars. How did he get vulnerable there? Okamesh dancing around this narrow position of the railings. Rep worried about the player below. He knows DD felled his teammate not long ago. It's a shame now for SCARZ. The plan was clearly to use the bark and the sledge with the nades there to get some vertical pressure on the side, but now they're the ones feeling the pressure from below.
Nice though from Rek to link up with one of his teammates and eventually take down DD Man. That was Tayo, who was able to help him out from inside of that VIP double. Little flash to jump past, not only that, but Fishlike is going to triple down as well, sorry, double down on yet another pick onto Okmesh from down below. Things are looking good for SCARZ.
Yeah, it's the player on the white stairs punished for a bit of aggression. Now they can indeed get to work on this vertical game. Where are these remaining players, though, for Varrel? Quite aggressive on the west side of the top floor, it seems, as Rento is still holding on. Oh, well played, though, from SCARZ. You can see the way they pressured Kawau from below and from the skylight. And now Varrel really under the pump. It's just Rento and Akayu left. Akayu at the top of the white stairs does find one. Now we're in a 2v2, Manny. This C4 could once again deal a bit of damage. Not to be. It's Rento to take down Pion. I believe that was jumping from the skylight, as it's just Tayo left remaining. Here in Cocktail, 2 players from Varrel to retake. Tayo tries to bait out, knows exactly where this player is. Tayo does get the first one. Surely not another clutch here for SCARZ. Akayu in a difficult position, not able to stick that diffuser, is going to have to go for the kill here. I don't think it's going to work out for him. Tayo does eventually lock it in, the perfect cover and the 1v2. The SCARZ to save the round.
Oh, man scared me there for a little bit. I was like, come on, man. You've got the big gun against the small gun. Time to land this final kill. But yeah, once again, I think for SCARZ, just punishing the rookie nature of Varrel, I think. Being able to take that control from below and then play the vertical in tandem with Pion on the roof to look for that flush position at the same time they're able to make their entry up white. It's just, SCARZ seems to have a pretty good grip on the way that the defenders are going to move around and reposition, I think. And I think for Varrel, as they're sitting pretty uncomfortably on the bomb site, they're not experienced enough to know where the blind spots are to these cutoffs, where they can maneuver to that's definitely going to be safe, even as the push comes through. They're not disciplined enough to maybe realize positions that they need to fight their ground, for example, and instead they're relying on stuff like that roam down from the basement, or like the heroics of them trying to come back in that round and close it out. I just think that SCARZ, overall, their method is really starting to punish the Varrel playstyle.
And it helps as well that SCARZ have now managed 2 clutches. It's strange, really, thinking about the fact that Varrel seem to be the team that tend to have the star players, that tend to be the playmakers, and yet 2 clutches in the SCARZ column and not a single one for Varrel.
Yeah, I don't know. This is starting to get a little bit worrying for me for Varrel. I think that going into this defense hub, I would have expected them to be a little bit scarier against SCARZ, but they're not showing the same prowess that they did on the attack.
Only 2 rounds now from stealing Varrel's map pick are SCARZ. This is getting a little bit scary now, Andy. While we do see SCARZ as, in theory, the favoured team, according to the groups, they were second in Group A, whereas Varrel were third in Group B. I definitely had penciled in Varrel for one of the favourites. In fact, Mandy, I kind of had SCARZ, Varrel, and CAG as the top 3 teams in the RJL, and I was expecting those to be the 3 teams to go to the major from the region. And yet, I'm fairly certain that's actually not possible any longer, right? Because SCARZ and Varrel are on this side of the bracket, and CAG is knocked out. So we're guaranteed to have either Northeption or Exist going to the major. And SCARZ and Varrel are fighting tooth and nail for their spots. Isn't that just insane?
That's really exciting. I think it's so good to have new faces come out of Japan as well. I think it's been a very long time coming, especially for this SCARZ roster with their dominance that they had across 2022. They were really consistently the top team of Japan and never quite able to crack into that international scene. And I think if they're able to take this best of 3 here, it'll be a fantastic debut for them.
Look at the work that the Twitch drone has been able to do already. I believe that's 2 Vulcan canisters wasted already. SCARZ are a different beast on their attacking side, Mandy. They're looking primed and ready to get 3 in a row here.
SCARZ once again identifying that there are in fact no players inside of this mining position. That being said, Okamesh has just snuck his way into there. Crouch walking through, Fish-like, playing a very cautious game.
Oh.
Not willing to walk into the retake from Okamesh. 2 players though, just on the other side of this wall. His position now flushed back as that window gets open.
There goes the logic bomb. Hear the phone ring out. Okamesh actually found one. And, well, double down now from Carwow upstairs. As SCARZ lurk has ended up getting punished by some individual ones and some off positions caught out. I believe both of those were gunfights. Didn't see the Okamesh fight, but Rek certainly, he was aware of the position of the enemy. He just lost his one. SCARZ a bit disjointed here.
Really nice from Varrel to get a reactive as the attack from SCARZ comes through. Able to find 2 entry picks, now 3 for Okamesh, being super mobile through the entire map. He's going to find yet another engagement. Oh, disgusting. Good night with Shoei and now Pion in the 1-on-5. My goodness, Okamesh is on another level today.
Yeah, he is something else. Give him a gun like the Vector with the 1.5. He's going to contest this. Oh my god! You say his name. Even Pion gives him the NS in chat. This guy is something else.
Good grief, that was criminal what he was just able to do. I believe that was I don't know, it was a 4K. It was not an ace, but a 4K from Okamesh. My gosh, he did absolutely nothing but take his wands, and that was it. There was nothing there to refrag. It wasn't like there was teamwork on the side of Varrel or anything like that. Okamesh was just like, I'm just gonna run around the map, take every opening engagement that I can take, and he won all 4 of them, which is pretty incredible stuff from just one individual player.
It was literally just strolling around the map the whole round, not a care in the world. Sticking his face in every window and peeking, retaking ground that SCARZ thought that they had. And you hear that quick burr of the Vector, and you know Okamesh is in town. 14 kills. Just 9 rounds so far. Of course, he did save the KD in the end of one of those rounds, and I won't let him forget that. But I think everyone will remember a round like the one he's just had.
That is incredible stuff, honestly. What a big pickup for Varrel. Like, if you've got a player like that that's just able to run rampant on the roam, especially such an extended roam as well, it's quite scary to have to deal with. And I think for SCARZ, look, I don't think they're going to be too fussed about that one. That was just wow, guys, we kind of really suck at our ones. And I don't think that SCARZ did anything particularly bad on the macro. I think they took the space that they needed, but when you're up against a player like that, it can be quite scary.
I mean, sometimes you just have these players that can pull off rounds like that. Okamesh is one of them. It's clearly why he's been picked up. He was one of the reasons for Crest's success over the past year and a half. And now he's on Team Varrel. It's gifted them an opportunity to redeem themselves here on their defense. Because at the start it certainly was not looking too hot. And, well, unfortunately, it's no done deal. Okamesh, though, once again, with this Vector, is popping heads and taking names.
But not before Rek was able to get that grenade off to the player inside of Timbers, and that's one of the anchors going down. In fact, that's your mute, that's your site construction, and one of your C4s as well. So now SCARZ start to turn their attention towards this cigar side of the map. They are going to be met by Okamesh, who once again has retaken control over inside of Pixel. Not only that, but we've got DD Man as well on the solos, who's going to aid Okamesh in his position and tell him exactly what they're going to be droning, where they're going to go through, able to telegraph that push as it comes through.
It's not looking too easy now for SCARZ as they completely fall apart. It's just Fish-like now in the 1v3. A lot of work done by Rento and DD. Let's see what Fish-like is going to be able to get done. Couple of zaps from the Evil Eye, and it's Varrel taunting him. Pre-fires, can he isolate the ones? I believe he still has his gun 6 in pocket. And the Maestro continues to taunt him. Of course, it's Okamesh to follow up with the flank from Shop and finish him off.
Oh, that's so tough. You're caught between a bubble and a player in Pixel. Like, what can you do? Everywhere that you move, a square inch inside of Cigar, you're seen. You're being shot by something. That's terrifying. I think, once again, for Varrel, really good at just sticking their heads in these entry fights and winning them out. It's just, whether it's off the back of the Solus with the info, maybe the Solus saw people get on drones as they got on the rappel or something like that, but they're just super good at relentlessly taking these opening engagements, and SCARZ just haven't been quite on the ball in the micro to be able to punish them for it.
I want to know what's in the water in Japan that can produce such talent as this. Okamesh is 16 kills and 3 deaths. Now that is the scoreline that we saw Nina end with on Oregon when Northeption took down Cyclops just earlier today. And there's still rounds to go here, Mandy. At least 2, bare minimum, for Okamesh to continue padding the stats. We hyped up Nina a lot, but Okamesh is actually delivering an even more stellar performance here in this second game today.
This is really exciting. It's one of these games that have just strayed so far away from it being about strategy, it being about setting up, or even the way that SCARZ are trying to punish the mistakes of Varrel and the little small intricacies in the setup that, like, for example, you know, not having the ADS on Timbers, being able to get a grenade off there, like, just all these small things that SCARZ are trying to do right is just being shut down by how talented all of these players are on Varrel, just being able to take the gunfights. In the end, Rainbow 6 is an FPS, and the more that it deviates away from this strategic kind of view of the game, it's just so exciting to watch.
Well, let's see what Varrel can do now when match point is on the line. SCARZ look to take Kitchen with this Monty once again. We saw it in the first round on their attacking side. The trend seems to continue. My question, is Varrel going to be able to deny this quick plant, this quick push in? Previously, despite maintaining vertical dominance, they were not able to prevent SCARZ from getting that diffuser planted.
And yeah, like you said, once again, SCARZ identifying that there really isn't a whole lot of presence on this side of the map, and in fact not a whole lot of presence left on the site either. We've got one player prone in between the bomb sites, and you've got that adjacent player inside of red. Actually, this is quite pivotal from Okamesh, right? He's going to be able to use those red lines of sight in tandem with the player inside of Kochek, and even when they want to go for that execute, they're going to have to worry about this crossfire that's been established.
May come down to the opening pick. A lot of these Varrel players in pivotal positions, but if they die, opens up an opportunity for SCARZ to push in. Varrel so far have had double the opening kills of what we've seen from SCARZ. And, well, it looks like SCARZ indeed going to find that first one. It may force a play here from some of these Varrel players. Hello, DD! Hang on a second, he's jumped straight outside. SCARZ starting to fall apart here. Okamesh is able to retake as well through Bakery. So just 2 players left as Pion does his best to retain some control here. The Monty force now back out of Kitchen. Tim and Tayo left to clutch up.
Unfortunately, that backside of the map has been completely closed off as well by the defense. The reinforcement later on to go into Freezer means that they can't actually enter in through this part of the map. The only way in they can go for is that Bakery side, and well, there are a whole lot of Varrel players to meet their resistance.
This is winnable though, still. Okamesh is still alive. He's not going to be bringing out that pulse scanner. Down goes Tayo for the hot drop, but a quick flick from Rento puts poor Pion in a 1v3. That's one done. Okamesh, do not let your head get exposed here, mate. Pion is going hunting. The pre-fire, it's not quiet enough as he goes in close. And Okamesh deals the fatal blow. It's match point here on the first map for Varrel.
And he does it in style as well. Of course, he knifes the air halfway through the gunfight too. Oh, damn.
Naturally.
These guys are just playing another type of Rainbow Six right now. SCARZ are trying to do the proper thing. They are honestly trying so hard to get these attacks right. They really are. They're doing everything right. They're pushing inside of Bakery. They're making sure they establish themselves there. Not only that, but you've also got the lurk from the other side of White to add an X factor into the push. You've got someone from Reception trying to break down on that coat check angle. SCARZ tried so hard to put together the ideal attack. But you have all of these disruptive players of Varrel that are jumping out of windows onto your player, bottom of garage. You've got players willing to retake into small bakery with a not a SCARZ player there to cover. It's just crazy stuff from Varrel, the way that they're able to just inject themselves relentlessly with full confidence into the attack that SCARZ are doing, even though it feels like the right thing to do.
My question, Mandy, is does SCARZ get desperate now when map point is against them? They were in the solid advantage at the start of their attacking half. They'd won 4 rounds in a row at that point. And now Varrel, if they win their 4th in a row here, will take the map without even being forced to OT. Next map on the docket is Clubhouse. Now that is SCARZ's map pick. We saw Varrel push Cyclops right to the edge yesterday. That grueling 7-5. Varrel starts strong here. I would not be surprised if they can make it a 2-0.
Well, I'm kind of liking what SCARZ are immediately going for. They already have info of the position of Okamesh, who is down in that ground floor. Not only that, but they've also brought along the gridlock as well in their lineup, which is something new, a good adaptation as well. What it's going to do is, even if they want to go for a linear take, they're going to be able to use those track stings to establish themselves better through the mid-round. It's going to be quite oppressive against the way that Varrel have been able to retake positions through the early to mid-round, and that's really where SCARZ have been falling apart, right? As soon as they get themselves into the building, you've got a Varrel player that's just snuck his way inside of the attack somehow, and I think that having that gridlock in hand is really going to help SCARZ out in their mission.
Well, if you can slow down these rotations from players like Okamesh, absolutely anything to stop them from just running wild around the map. This bomb site is where we saw Okamesh get 4 kills last time with that Vector. He's kicked it off now with the C4. Washoy is able to equalize, however, taking down the smoke player. That's a big pick.
Nice cutoff on the White stairs. It's able to punish that rotation back. This is the SCARZ way, right? When teams are playing silly and aggressive and making funny rotations, get on windows and play that cutoff. There are still 2 players inside of that cocktail position. That's the Elysian player in tandem with, I believe it's Kawa on the top floor. Rek is going to come through for their entry, distracted by the Repel player, able to take down DD. Only 1 player left inside a cocktail. He can make the second work in his hands.
Yeah, excellent play from Rek, and just like that, SCARZ have successfully cleared the top floor of any Varrel players. It's Caillou and Okamesh remaining, neither having a C4 to work with. Okamesh, who closed the map by breaking 20 kills, but Rek says, I'm not having it. And he's going to close it. What a huge round from Rek, a 4K. SCARZ are going to push overtime here on Cafe.
Rek saw Okamesh get his 4K on this bomb site, and he was like, I can match that. I reckon I can absolutely match that. That was a really fantastic entry. I think the way that SCARZ were able to play that was off the back of a lot more active intel, I think, right? You have your gridlock making sure that she's following behind the entry player and establishing those track stingers in the building. Not only that, but you have 2 or 3 more players playing things like cutoff, right? Like one of those pivotal picks that came through was that White cutoff. And that's not something that takes a whole lot of being active, right? You don't need to inject yourselves in the building. You don't need to set up hard breach, get claymores down or whatever. Just get on a window, you know, play those cutoffs. And I think it made that setup in the top floor where you had 2 cocktail players get really claustrophobic, and makes a nice easy entry for Rek off the back of 2 or 3 players droning him in, making sure that there's no one retaking positions and surrounding him, and he's not taking unfair engagements.
It is interesting to me, though, how many of these rounds are really dictated by individuals stepping up. I was going to say, that is a dirty Capcan trap. Please, just like, don't ever do that. The trap is completely hidden inside of the trash, the garbage bag, the rubbish bin, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you're from. But the SCARZ, right? Like that previous round was just Rek gone ham. Yeah, like you said, droned up well, supported by his team. But he loses one of those ones, and he certainly doesn't get the other 3.
That's certainly right. It's what you need to have a pretty powerful front line, but I think for SCARZ, it's certainly about dialing this back a little bit and making sure that you're punishing Varrel for the amateur mistakes that they might be making. DD is going to play that Solus, and he's able to see if he can identify any flank drones inside of White Garage, and what that's doing is it's enabling Okamesh to play inside of that ground floor position. He can do as he pleases, he can jump out of windows, he can open up that bottom white and kill the South Repel player if he wishes. And so far, Varrel doubling down to make a nice little tandem roam happening for them.
The SCARZ are doing a pretty good job of clearing out this util on site. The Flores from Washoy proving quite valuable in that respect, clearing out the shields, destroying the bars. Rek here on this lurk is just trying to catch a rotation, but
He's got no idea.
I don't think he does. Has he heard him? Oh, there's no way. The timing could be perfect here. DD, man, doesn't even need Okamesh's help.
Really nice hand-in-hand roam going for the two players of Varrel. The Alibi, aided by the info from the Solus, is able to take down that first lurk coming out from Rek, and he was the pivotal player that we were speaking about in the previous rounds. Now the push can start to come out from inside of this cigar shop side of the map too, and the utility to follow that's Pion with his two nades in hand to try and clear out that pixel position.
You pointed out now, right? That was a Solus against the knock. I don't think that... I didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure Rek would have had his ability active, and that's why he was spotted by DD. And now SCARZ on the back foot. They seem to be pretty cautious, aware of Okamesh's position, or at least DD's down below. They might not realize as there are two roamers waiting to backstab.
Oh, and Tayu creeping down the red stairs is going to try and use this line of sight against the defenders. Pion has got a nade in hand on that cut-off window as well, but is not able to get that trade back onto his teammate going down. 3-on-3 now, Fish-like able to claw his way inside of that minibar to take down Rento.
Bit late on the trade there from Okamesh. Could have saved his teammate, but not quite able to get it done in time. And so a lot of control now established for SCARZ as they look to convert these last 35 seconds.
I do just want to say though, 20-3, 20th kill for Okamesh, that's exciting. Although the execute is starting to come through from SCARZ, only 26 seconds left to go, and that bar has been destroyed. Fish-like can sink a grenade, and now it's 2-on-2.
Oh! And it's got to be Okamesh. You said his name, 20 kills. They're looking for two more now in the clutch. 15 seconds left on the clock. Washoy is forcing that diffuser down, reveals his position, and he does get the first one. Sprays down the headshot onto Washoy. Pion once again called upon to clutch, but Okamesh has been phenomenal, and he is not stopping anytime soon. 22 kills to just 4 deaths, and the clutch to boot. Another map point here for Varrel.
Okamesh is just absolutely criminal what he's been able to do here on Cafe Dev. I cannot believe some of the things that he's gotten away with. It is absolutely absurd. Being able to claw back that 2-on-1, just 22-4 is a scoreline that should never happen. I mean, in such a competitive series like this.
Forget about breaking 20 kills. Think about breaking plus 20 KD, right? Like, at the moment he's at plus 18. The kill death difference. He could get 2 kills in this round. That's not that much for Okamesh. He could absolutely do it. This guy's survival rate is next level. I have no idea how he manages to do it, but just have a look across the whole server. He's got 4 deaths. The next least deaths on any player is Rento at 7. And that guy's got like less than a third of Okamesh's kills.
I don't know what he's having for breakfast, but I want to have what he has for breakfast.
Japanese breakfast is something else, I'll tell you what.
It's absolutely true. Oh my goodness, you made me laugh. I was drinking a sip of my water. We're going down a reading depth for potentially the final round of this map to send us into map 2. Now, I didn't keep track of whose pick this was. I've not written this. I think this is Varrel's pick, isn't it? This is absolutely
yes.
They're so
Yes,
great at Cafe.
is.
Surely it is. And I think for Okamesh, he's absolutely proven why they love Cafe. This is his realm, and we are just living in it.
Yeah, wow. I honestly, if anyone can find any tier 1 match that has any individual player with a scoreline this dominant, I'd be genuinely surprised. If someone can find it, please let me know, but I just don't think this has ever happened before. We talk a lot about kill records. Now, I don't think Okamesh is on track to break an actual kill record. He'd need to be, what, like 27 plus or something in order to do that. But in terms of KD, this is truly unprecedented.
Well, the special drone squad is starting to make its way in towards the bomb site, and as identified, there are not a whole lot of SCARZ players here, Dev. Not only that, but the Flores that has been going in over and over again has taken down so much like utility on the site that it could almost be a runway here if they really want to make their way in through that exit door and maybe even up white. It could be on the cards for Varrel.
Dishlike's been rotating around. He knows he's lost his Banshee. It was meant to be a signal that Varrel entering pillars. Just keep your eye on Okamesh. You never know where he's going to be next. Varrel are making some rotations here. Looks like a SCARZ player is actually positioned inside a bakery, going for a run out. I don't think there's anyone defined there for Pion, so his now position's going to be revealed. I wouldn't be surprised if Varrel try and cut him off.
This Varrel attack is very tough to keep track of. They have a player injected right in the center of the building. And Tayo, does he have an idea that he's there? They certainly have an idea that Tayo is there. Varrel have got the info inside of mining, but in tandem with this going on, you have the rest of Varrel players trying to inject themselves in an engagement from Fishlike, and that's Rento taking down the site player.
Yet another opening as well for Varrel. It has been open season. And now DD...
Okamesh is down! Okamesh down.
That is a cause of rejoice for SCARZ fans, and these four SCARZ players left alive in the server right now as DD caught in an awkward position, going up against a great player on Tayo and Pion to come and flank as well. So, hang on a second. There was a trade once again, back again. Varrel in a 3v1 with that diffuser going down. Pion does have the ability to make Vert here with his impact grenade. But he himself is going to have a massive impact. Does spot out the first player. Rento's low HP, so Kawau is the most dangerous one for Pion right now. Is he able to get the corner? No, he is not! Rento to close it. An overtime win for Varrel. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. An unreal showing from Okamesh. And Varrel to take their map pick. We're going to Clubhouse.
I just can't believe the map that we saw there, to be honest, from Varrel. I know it was their map pick, but I didn't expect them to do it quite like that. Okamesh is an absolute demon on the entry.